Today we're going to be talking about one of the hottest releases from Tissot over the last few years. But we're not going to go into a dive on what makes this watch cool or great. We're going to talk about how to spot a fake on Marketplace. The other day I was browsing Marketplace and I came across this listing, and this is exactly what you want to look out for. It targets people that are looking for a PRX, and it's brand new apparently. He's only asking $500 for it because he got it as a gift. And usually when somebody says got it as a gift, it's a red flag, it's an exit, so they can say, oh, I didn't know anything about it. He's saying, everything's included in it. Retail price around $800. It's actually $950 in Canada. And he's only asking $500 or best offer for this. And now let's take a look at the photos. So the first photo, he's got the bracelet, the serial tag. The second photo, he's got a shot of the watch. Third photo is going to be relatively the same thing, a little bit closer up. And the last photo he's going to have is a further out shot where he's holding the watch in his hand. But this first photo here is what's going to tell us everything that we want to know about this watch. It has a serial number on it. It has a reference number on it. The serial number that's on here is supposed to match the serial number on the case back 100% of the time. So that tells us what we need to know, even though he doesn't have all the photos that we would like to have. So let's take a look at how we can use this information that's provided to us to be able to see if we can identify a fake. The first thing that you want to do is go to Google, go to the original Tissot website here. So I'll just pop that up. I already have an account. If you don't have an account and you're looking at buying Tissot watches, I highly recommend you make an account here, because any modern Tissot watch you want to validate here. So let's just log in here, and once this pops up, we're going to go on to the left side of the panel, go to my watches. You'll see I have a lot of my personal watches in here. At the very bottom, you want to add a watch to your collection. So this little pop-up here says, the serial number is located on the back of the watch. We don't have a serial number on the back. We have this tag, so let's pop it in. And there we go. So that serial number comes back with a different watch. Once again, that's the serial number on the watch on Tissot site, comparing it against the one on Marketplace. This is exactly why I love using the Tissot website to check serial numbers. The reference number of the watch should always come back to the exact specification. So if you have a PRX with a green dial, it'll come back showing a PRX with a green dial. If it's blue on a leather strap, your serial number will match that. So when you're looking at buying a PRX or any modern pre-owned Tissot or even a new Tissot, always check here. So let's take a look at the actual reference number of the watch that's on the tag that we saw in the photo. Just going to do a quick Google search. And one of the first things that you'll notice is there's a lot of PRXs here. So the first thing that an uneducated buyer will do is say, okay, I've popped the reference number in. It comes back. Even the Tissot website is on here, right? Everything here is Tissot Men's Powermatic 80 watch. I clicked on it. Hey, that's the Tissot website. It's showing me a Tissot PRX 40 mil. And the biggest thing here is, the reference number is there, but it's not the right watch. It is a blue dial. And we'll scroll down to the bottom here. If you look at the actual green dial, it has a different reference number. So it's 091.00. And it's not just this watch. Every different variation will have its own, right? So for example, the ice blue has its own variation. So one of the first things to look out for is check your serial number, check your reference number. Both of those are a big thing. So this is my personal Tissot PRX 40 mil Powermatic 80. Let's take everything that we've learned from checking the serial number and everything and apply it to this guy here. So one of the first things that I want to show you is where the serial number is located. It's right here, if you can see it. That number has to match what's on the hang tag or the card. That means that that belongs to this watch. And as you can see, it's right here. So this part here is what the Marketplace posting is trying to show us. So what's on this? You have the reference number, you have the serial number. The serial number is supposed to match the back of the watch, which in this case it does. So let's take a look at how to validate this model here and how it is different than one that we just saw on Marketplace. All right, so I'm not going to run through this thing in a lot of depth because it's the same as what we just did. So let's go back to the Tissot website. We'll pop the serial number down here, which matches what's on my case back, which matches what's on my tag. And now let's go to the next step. And here we see that it comes back as a green dial, PRX Powermatic 80, 40 millimeter. The watch reference number checks out. The watch's serial number checks out with what we have on the back of the watch, on the case back itself, as well as the card. So Tissot is saying, yes, this serial number belongs to this reference, belongs to this watch. And when you have those three things together, you have a really good way of validating it. Now, if you go through this flow, you'll be able to add the watch to your account, and this is what it looks like when it pops up. So here you can see, same watch, correct serial number, correct reference number. So while we're talking about reference numbers and everything here, let's take a look at what happens when we look up this particular reference number. So when we go on here, we see lots of PRXs popping along the top, right? Same kind of thing as what we saw before, but we'll see that the actual Tissot website that comes up as the #1 search, if we click on that, this exact reference number comes back to the green dial. So like I said, this reference number is different than what the reference number of a blue dial would be. Even though it's going to come back saying Tissot PRX Powermatic 80, you know it's a green one. It matches exactly what we have here for the reference number, as well as the reference number that we initially validated it with. So this is a great example of what a genuine PRX looks like going through this validation process. So the next way to validate this watch is a lot more technical, and it's all about what powers the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. So this is a timegrapher. What it's going to tell us is how many seconds a day it's going plus minus, the amplitude of it, essentially how strong the movement is running, and the beat error. So the other thing it's going to tell us is right up here at the top right of the timegrapher, it's going to show us the beats per hour. So here we see 21,600 beats per hour, which is what the Tissot Powermatic movement runs at. So when I throw this watch on to my timegrapher and I'm seeing 21,600 beats per hour, it's telling me that the movement is correct for this watch. This is a very technical way of testing the movement of a Powermatic 80, but it is one of the best. I'll have a link down below for anybody that may want to look into a timegrapher. If you're getting into watches, it's a good thing to have so you know how your watches are running. But this is a very technical fourth way of identifying everything. So now we have serial number checking out, reference number checking out, registering onto the Tissot website, as well as validating that the movement is running at 21,600 beats per hour. And all that together gives us really good confidence in this watch.